You're listening to the Casting for Fun podcast, the show that talks about entertainment, sports, music, and inspirational stories for all to enjoy. We're glad you could join us today. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Now, here is your host, Albert Pineda.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Casting for Fun podcast. I am your host, Albert Pineda, and this episode is for Wednesday, August the 9th, 2023. For this week's episode, my good buddy Nick Turner returns to the show. I'm grateful that Nick was able to accommodate me last minute. Otherwise, I may not have had a guest this week. So thank you, Nick. And it's always a blast to catch up with him. As is customary, when Nick's on the show, we kind of just do a random conversation. So it's a bunch of different topics that we discuss. And it's always fun and great to catch up with friends. I wanted to make an announcement here that next week we're finally going to get to the Temple City Friends reunion episode that I've been meaning to do for several weeks now. Actually for a few months now. So Nick will be returning next week as well, along with his brother Tad making his debut for the show. Derek Dupre will be returning as well, and our youth leader from our church, Jeff Haskins, and possibly even a few other guests. We'll see. But regardless, so I'm very excited that all of my these awesome, great guys are going to be joining me next week to shoot the breeze and just talk about really fun things. But in the meantime, so Nick's going to be on today for this episode. And for anyone else who was interested in knowing this, I'm sure probably many of you are aware, the Spider-Man Across the Universe movie is now available for digital purchase. So if you haven't already seen it, I recommend buying it and watching it as soon as you can. I'm not sure when it's going to be available for regular streaming and which streaming service will get it. But regardless, though, I think it's actually worth a purchase to get it. Anyway, so please enjoy my conversation with Nick. We talk about a lot of random, great stuff that interests us. And stay tuned for next week's episode when I get to talk to several of my friends from Temple City. So returning to the show, good friend, frequent collaborator, always on the pinch whenever I need him, Nick Turner. Nick, how are you doing tonight?
Doing excellent, my man. How about yourself?
Doing good too. It was a nice week getaway with the family before, and then the weekend was birthday celebration. So it was a nice week and a half of just relaxing. Now back to work, but
I got to ask, which birthdays?
Mine.
Oh, that's right. It was your birthday. I did wish you happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. Did. Yes. So 40.
So it was a week. I thought you said it was a week of birthdays. So I assume there was more than one.
Oh, no. A week of a summer vacation before, and then we came back to town, and then like the day we came back to town was my birthday. So that's when Allison wanted to do some celebrations for me.
Nice.
So it was nice. It was nice.
What'd you eat? What'd you have for your birthday dinner?
Oh, so actually, this kind of goes into our conversation. So for those who are interested in checking out this episode, it's going to be just another random conversation between Nick and I, where we're just going to bring up random topics of discussion, which we think people will find entertaining. In fact, some ways, I think the conversation kind of flows more naturally this way. So it's kind of cool. But to answer your question, we went to Hollywood to hit out some spots that I wanted to check out. I don't know if you've heard of the Scum and Villainy Cantina.
I can't. Is that a Star Wars thing?
Yeah, it's a Star Wars themed bar on
Okay.
So we went there. I mean, obviously we're not drinkers, but so we had some virgin drinks. But their menu is actually pretty decent. And then they have like the QRL scanner thing. Scan on your phone, order on your phone, and the servers bring you food. So we ordered some chicken wings, some street tacos. It was a little pricey, but the atmosphere is pretty cool. Like the inside really kind of does look like the cantina from Mos Eisley.
Do you think they pay licensing fees?
I'm going to probably do a little more research about that, but it's kind of gathered a little bit of a following. In fact, I think a fellow podcaster, Kevin Smith, does his show out there at the Scum and Villainy Cantina sometimes.
I wonder who owns it then.
Yeah, that's a good question.
How he knows them.
Yeah.
Hollywood Connection. They don't do anything for free.
No, of course not. But along with that, because right in that area of Hollywood and Vine, the Pantages theaters, right? Yeah. So that's kind of what's famous. But I wanted to go check out Amoeba Records to buy some vinyl records, and then also to go to the Funko store. They opened up a Funko store in Hollywood. So it's kind of cool just to check all those things, and they're all walking distance from each other. So normally Hollywood wouldn't be my first pick to like how to spend my birthday, but the fact that all three were like really close, so we just pay for parking once, was kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah. It all, in the younger years, we might have been more daring and go to a concert or something or the beach or yeah. Now
Yeah,
let's just get some music, get some good food. Yeah, we're good.
yeah.
We're happy.
But yeah, 43 is looking good. So and then being time spend time with the family, summer
Right.
vacation before that, so that was pretty fun too.
How'd the kids like it?
They liked it, yeah. So we actually went beach camping at Refugio Beach. I don't know if you've heard of that particular state beach.
I
Just a
have.
little bit north of Santa Barbara.
Okay, I've driven by it probably many times, but don't recall it offhand.
Yeah, so right off the 101. So you take
Oh,
the 101 north, you get up to that area. It was really cool. We rented a trailer that they actually had delivered for us. So we actually had a full like camper to camp in that we didn't have to tow ourselves. Uh
are you really camping?
yeah, it was Allison's
Let's,
idea.
let's call it. Hey, look, if you're gonna do it, I agree. That's the right way to do
Yeah.
it. I didn't have to drive it there. I just showed up. There was a camper I could sleep in.
Yeah.
That's my kind of camping.
Yeah. In fact, actually, if we'd done camping like that back in the 90s, maybe we would actually been more involved in scouts,
We
right?
I might have liked it. Yeah, that's true. I only went on like 2 overnight trips or something with you guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was not me.
Yeah, and it's so funny talking to people about scouting now. Like, Jeff's two son-in-laws are Eagle Scouts, and
Yeah,
little Jeffy, I guess we shouldn't call him little anymore. He's an Eagle Scout. So
he's still
Jeff
a little
kind of did a
Jeffy.
180 on the scouting program, which was kind of funny.
Yeah, I wonder if Jeff questions his gender now. We'll have to ask him.
Oh, it's funny. But yeah, we'll talk to him about that when we get everyone together. That's going to be really cool.
By the
But
way, are we sure he's even going to make it next week? Because part of me wonders if he'll call and cancel because he's got to go to Disneyland.
oh, that's funny. Yeah.
A little preview. Little
Yeah,
preview.
little
Sorry.
preview. Yeah, next week's going to be pretty funny. But yeah, so Refugio Beach was pretty fun. We were there for a full week. It was actually other families from that we know from our ward here in Upland. So it was we all kind of camped in the same area in general. We had
Nice.
to rent out the site that we would be in, and yeah, it was right by the beach, so we got to spend time at the beach. We went to go visit Solvang. I guess that's like a quaint little city. I mean, my family goes there all the time, but they used to when they lived in the area. So yeah, it was a cool, nice, relaxing trip.
I'm not going to say, your own little private campground, California camping on the beach. It's not a bad birthday.
Yeah,
Not a bad weekend. Not a bad birthday week. I wouldn't mind doing that. We went down to the beach this summer, but not really real waves. Texas beach.
oh, okay.
They don't have real waves. Can't really surf here.
Hmm. Is that like Corpus Christi, or where is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's, I've been down there twice. There's like Padre Island, North Padre Island, South Padre. I'm probably screwing it up. But yeah, it's pretty wide
Oh,
coastline.
oh, okay. Very
Um,
cool.
but yeah, calmer waters. The first day we were there was actually a storm, so there were surfers. The waves were not great, but big enough to surf.
Hmm.
And half the people there were like, "Oh, we've never seen surfers here." I'm like, "Well, there was a storm." So we just happened to be there for one day when they actually had waves.
Oh, oh, cool. Very nice. Very nice. So yeah, that's kind of what's been going on with me. But like as we mentioned before, with these kind of like random episode conversations, we kind of just bring up random topics that we wanted to bring up. So was there any particular that you would like to discuss? I have a few items on my agenda, but if anything else that you wanted to go ahead and bring up now while we have the time.
I feel like we can't get together. We always talk about, what we talk about on the podcast practically, because that's the stuff
Yeah.
we like.
Yeah.
Anyway, I went to put notes together, be like, oh, what would I want to talk about? And I'm like, one, Disney sucks. Two, Star Wars sucks. Three, Hollywood sucks. And I'm like, why? I'm not typing anymore. It's just a list of what sucks. That's not that fun.
Mhm.
But anyway, I don't know where you want to go. I've been following a YouTube channel called WDW Pro. They talk a lot on Disney. And so yes, I do have a Disney question, Albert.
Yeah.
Uh, do you think Disney's doing good as a business currently?
It's really hard to say. So I know there's lots of insiders who have the information who can kind of like uh report on like their financial gains, like their return on investments, things like of that nature. I know the publicly traded companies usually want to keep that information private or as much as they can, right? So I don't
True.
know but I mean the perception I think would it probably be, I mean you look at the movies that have kind of been floundering, like Elemental for Pixar. I mean, I didn't see it myself, and but my understanding was that was performed under budget,
Hmm.
as did the Little Mermaid, the live action Little Mermaid. Then, of course, obviously, it's well documented that Indiana Jones performed under budget. So
Yep.
it just seems like Walt Disney Pictures as a whole has been kind of struggling a lot in 2023. And it might even have been, if you go back to the previous year as well, like some of the other movies. I think Lightyear, that was the other Pixar movie from last year that I think also
Yep.
kind of underperformed too. So it seems that the film division's been kind of suffering. As far as the parks go, I can't tell for certain, but collectively as a whole, I guess they're doing well enough, but probably under what they would expect to do, right?
No, I think they're doing really bad. From what I
Oh,
hear,
really?
the
Okay.
the parks are way down, particularly in Florida. I don't
Mhm,
think as much in California, but Florida for sure.
mhm,
But that, yeah, their park attendance is even down. That's why I just said Disney,
mhm.
because I am thinking of everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the studios aren't doing well. Disney Plus isn't doing well. The parks aren't doing great. I mean, that's why I'm like, do you think they're doing good? I think in 3 days they have their next reportings earning,
Mhm.
and they haven't had good ones. So we'll find out in a couple days if things are still going down. But like, why is Disney as a whole like doing so poorly? It's kind of, I just want to pick your brain on what you think. Like, or, and if you were like, I don't think they're that bad, fine, but why are they even that bad? Like, why is the Disney company just seems like ESPN's laying people off? We have a bad economy, but that can't account for all of it.
Mhm.
Because some of this, in my opinion, goes back years. But yeah, why is the Disney company as a whole just seem to be taking a dive? And none of the divisions, in my opinion, are really doing that great.
No, no, that's a good true point. I mean, again, yeah, we just talked about the film divisions. I mean, there's multiple ones in Disney now. So like Lucasfilm, Marvel Studios, Pixar, the own Disney Animation Studio, which is separate from Pixar.
Yep.
For a while, I would have said, yeah, Marvel Studios is doing really well, but they've kind of been floundering too. In fact,
Absolutely.
actually, what I kind of read or saw was that the Secret Invasion show with Samuel L. Jackson playing Nick Fury, I was really high on that show. And now that it's finished and watched, I mean, I don't know if you wanted to jump into that, but yeah, I was kind of disappointed by what we got as a show. And I even saw that the streaming numbers for that one, along with the Miss Marvel show from last year, were down
Hmm.
considerably from some of the other ones.
Yep.
So it almost kind of seems that the fan interest is kind of waning a little bit in that regard as well. But to answer your question more specifically, it probably kind of has to do with maybe just people being like, I guess, tired of Hollywood agenda. But again, it's interesting too from the point of view from someone who maybe kind of likes what they're presenting. I mean, are they putting their money into Disney? And sometimes it kind of seems like maybe they're not either. If that makes any sense.
No, it does. I agree. I'll actually, my opinion on it is that Disney's target audience used to be like families
Mm-hmm.
and children. And I think so. I'm trying to look at it from like a business perspective, not woke and all that, but just
Yeah.
like numbers and
Yeah.
why, what could account for it across the board instead of just a division here, or even half. Like it's everywhere. And there's a lot of woke talk, but to me it seems like they're not like the family's no longer their customer. Like they're not making things for families. And so families aren't watching, aren't going, aren't. That's pretty general and
Yeah.
broad as a whole, but I think like you have to find a general broad answer to account for the whole company.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and part of it in that is like all the new products. Once again, they're not really geared towards families. So when parents take their children there, it's for legacy stuff,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of legacy stuff. But yeah, the new stuff isn't exciting families, children. Not in our house, anyway.
Hmm.
So you have kids too. I don't know. I know, and you have been recently, I believe. I think I saw
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I'm just curious as someone who's gone more like we've talked Star Wars land, but yeah, to me it just seems like we're not the customer anymore. And to your point, the the people they're going after aren't, my opinion is there's just not enough of them to make up for the families lost.
Hmm.
So they're going after a certain target audience and it's small, just thinking that the old audience, the families will just stay because they're Disney and their history. And slowly, like I'm much further, like I didn't watch Secret Invasion.
Hmm.
I had no faith that it would be good. I didn't hear good things. I've heard mostly negative stuff about it. Um, like Nick Fury to me is like pathetic now. I don't know what you think, but I'm like they turned him into a wuss, in my opinion. And I
Hmm.
didn't even watch the show. That's just watching people talk about it. Um, but you're not the customer. That's why you didn't like it. That's my opinion. And the people that do like it, it's just such a small percentage in that customer base. That's my business reason for why Disney is not doing well.
Hmm.
I don't know what you think about that.
No, no, I think that's a valid point. To me, it would seem that they would take things in that into consideration because, I mean, yes, if it could be said that yes, they want to meet an agenda or like particularly go after a particular audience, but more important than that would be they want to make money, right? So if they are realizing and understanding that they're losing money in certain aspects, maybe they should make changes. I don't know. It's a it seemed like it should be like an easy problem to understand, but maybe not the easiest to fix.
So one thing I heard from these other podcasts, and I didn't realize it, that one thing that, Bob Iger ruined Disney. Let me just say that first. Wasn't Chapek. All the bad plans were put in place by Iger. Chapek was trying to fix things during COVID, but all the bad shows were all approved by Iger that on this downward spiral. All the Disney stuff approved by Iger. Anyway, um, yeah, I think they've just made a series of bad decisions and change. It's based on a different audience. And in a nutshell, that's it. Not to go much deeper down the rabbit hole. And
Mm-hmm.
some of the stuff you brought up to me leads towards politics, so I'm going to avoid going that way
Mm-hmm.
because I don't think you and I want this to turn in. This isn't a political show.
Mm-hmm.
But I think to go down and answer some of those questions, that's your own rabbit hole to go down because to me it just goes down. It's because of politics. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if you would agree with just that basic premise or not, but that's my opinion.
I think so. I think I would agree with that. But so what I would like to see is so just people listening who are make sure that you're aware that I do love the Disney brand. And my kids love it too. We did whole episodes with last summer talking with Eddie about announcements they had made at the D23
Right.
convention. So things that we were excited for, but have turned out to maybe kind of be subpar. Like Danny DeVito in a Haunted Mansion movie. Oh, I would have been first in line for that. But now
Right.
everyone's saying that's a bad movie. So um so go figure. But I mean, that being said, I definitely want to see the Disney brand be successful. I want to see good, entertaining products, and we, for the most part, have gotten a few pretty good ones. So I do enjoy that. And then we talk about tempering expectations. My hopes for Ahsoka are really high. So I definitely, again, when as we discussed before, when Ahsoka's finished and done, I would definitely love to have you, Fernando, and Chris on again to discuss that
Cool.
show. So.
I'm down. All right. What are the few good ones? I think since Endgame, Disney hasn't been good for the most part.
Oh,
Personally,
okay.
that's kind
No,
of
no,
my
yeah.
line.
Okay.
And on Star Wars, since Disney bought Star Wars, it hasn't been good.
Mm-hmm.
In general, those are kind of my lines where I think it started to go down. So, what's the recent stuff that you've liked?
The recent stuff, I mean, the first thing that comes to mind for sure would definitely be Spider-Man No Way Home. But you have to remember that was actually a joint production with Sony.
Yeah,
So, I mean, so you can't say Disney, hey, you can't take all the credit for that.
I agree. I
um,
always bring that up, so I'm like,
yeah.
I like that too.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was I know, I think it was amazing only in the nostalgia factor.
Mhm.
Yeah, how could you not like past Spider-Mans that you grew up with? That
Yeah.
was cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Guardians of the Galaxy 3, I thought was really good. What else? Black Widow I thought was decent, but again, some people maybe had their opinions on that. But I thought Black Widow was pretty entertaining. Shang-Chi for the most part was really good in the first act. I thought the setup was really cool, but then I think it kind of went off a little bit.
Yeah.
And then as far as the shows go, I actually think Hawkeye was really good. Hawkeye was really enjoyable, as was Loki. In fact, actually, for shows that I am looking forward to, I think Loki season 2 should be pretty cool. So,
Gotcha.
so there's a handful of ones that I think have been pretty good. WandaVision, I think that one's a little iffy for some people, but I enjoyed it for the most part. So
I liked it, but then again, there were parts I'm like, eh. Like I feel
yeah,
like they had good parts to it for sure, but
yeah, there's been good pieces here and there, but I think Marvel Studios could be suffering from some of the same problems that Lucasfilm had, in that it doesn't really necessarily have a clear direction. Like we can go on for hours as to what went wrong with the sequel trilogy, but it kind of
yeah,
seemed that they didn't really have a direct plan. And then as post Endgame, we've taken care of the Infinity Stones. It doesn't seem like they have a direct plan. It's kind of more just random stories that are occurring. I guess they
right.
are kind of leaning to what's going to happen with Kang, but I guess the actor who plays Kang is in a little bit of hot water, so he may not even be returning.
You know, the Flash, they let the Flash play his part. What's his
Yeah.
name?
Oh,
So
yeah. Yeah.
who knows?
Who
I'm
knows?
like, what are they gonna do? I feel like they're stuck in a pickle
Yeah.
because, in current society, if they let him go, they're gonna get backlash from BLM. But yeah, they got themselves in a pickle.
Hmm.
I mean, they could, what Hollywood used to do, just recast someone,
Yeah.
but it seems like you can't do that now. So
Hmm.
they got themselves in a pickle,
Yeah.
Hollywood in general, when it comes to, and on that, the strike. I'm sure because you're in Southern California, you hear more about it.
Hmm.
Out over here in Texas, I pretty much ignore it, because a lot of the stuff they're putting out is not that great. So I'm like, eh. Also, I wonder, it's been rumored that Disney is the one. This is all speculation. That Disney kind of pushed the strike.
Oh, really? No,
So
I haven't seen that.
yeah, I've heard this, that because I guess the unions, they were working towards an agreement. Like there was no real problems. They were getting somewhere, and then like magically, it was the studios that then flipped and pretty much forced the strike. And that this is allowing them to, they're bleeding money. So, are you aware that Disney has to buy Hulu next year?
They have to outright buy it or sell it, right?
Yeah,
They
buy
do
it.
oh, they do have to. Okay, I had
So
heard that they were going to try and sell their portions of Hulu.
I think that's what they wanted to do, but I guess that in the contract with whatever company it is, they had agreed that by 2024 they would buy them out.
Hmm.
But the other client, they had an option to not sell, but it's up to them. They could keep it, or like in 2024, they could decide to keep their shares, or they could make Disney take them. Well, because the economy is going down, they want to unload it, so they're making Disney purchase the shares.
Hmm.
Um, so here's one reason people speculate Disney's gone down, was the Fox acquisition, that they paid too much money for Fox, and things were good then, but they paid too much money and they haven't gotten a good return on that investment. Like
Hmm.
think of the Fox stuff they like just related to Marvel. Since they got Fox, we were all excited that like, hey, we're gonna get X-Men now and like these other properties. It's been a while and they haven't really done anything with some of the Fox acquisitions. So, but they
Hmm.
paid so much money for it, and I think they're going to pay like double for Hulu what they had to pay for Fox, and they have no cash. So Disney's in real financial troubles when you come, because it's the compounding effect of the studios and Marvel and Disney not doing well, the park slowing down, and now you have to buy Hulu with an absurd amount of money. So now you hear layoffs. They're in their third round of layoffs at Disney, letting people go at ESPN too. There's talks they want to sell the FX networks, like because they have to raise the money to buy Hulu. So, yeah, I don't know how much of that you're aware of, but Disney's really in a financial like in one of the worst positions they've ever been in.
I had heard some things along those lines because I had also heard there was potential interest of I don't know if it was interest, but that Apple was going to come in to potentially buy Disney.
Yep.
It's so crazy to me to think that. I mean, that Apple is actually a bigger company than Disney, but they are.
Right. That is, I think about that too. Even we don't have Apple Plus, but
Yeah.
just the fact that Apple, we hear about you and other people talk about shows that are on Apple Plus,
Mm-hmm.
and people say, like we hear, it's one of the better services at the moment
Mm-hmm.
for content. So, but yeah, like Apple's king of phones and computers and now taking over Hollywood. What? Who would have thought?
Yeah, really.
We'll see if it goes through, but well, the fact that Disney, there's even rumors that Disney has to sell or be bought, like that's how he's going to save the company. Doesn't that just show really how bad like we're speculating, but like doesn't that just show they're really in trouble if that's even being considered?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So hopefully they can turn things around. But I mean, we'll
Yeah.
have to see. Just I mean, for me myself as a lover of entertainment, particularly the brands that Disney has acquired, Star Wars and Marvel, I want to see them be successful. So we'll have to just wait and see what happens.
Yeah, I've come to the conclusion that the people that made stuff successful aren't there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that Disney hasn't really been creating their own new stuff. They have a pattern now of just buying other companies that have made money instead of more Walt's way of, hey, we got to be creative and inventive and we should be pushing the envelope. Now someone passes them and they just buy them. And then it's good for a while,
Mm-hmm.
but then the people that made that company they bought good, they all just hit the jackpot and work for a while and then slowly retire. And then you're left with the name, but the people that made it what it was are gone. And there's no new company to buy, pretty much, that they can afford.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, that's probably enough Disney talk.
Oh, well, sounds good.
Disney
Thank you for-
specifically.
yeah,
I could go on for hours. I agree. I want Disney to do well. I want kids to like going to Disney. I agree with you
Mhm.
and all of that. But I think South Park was right. Mickey Mouse is the devil. I think, once again, South Park had it right so long ago.
Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. Very cool. Well, onto a little more lighthearted topic that I wanted to bring up with you. So right now, I mean, it's August. It's the midst of like the dog days of summer. So we're past the 4th of July. We're past like a lot
Yeah.
of the big blockbuster movies that would have been good in the past. I mean, I remember like summertime in the box office. So going to the movies was really fun before. But again, so right now it just kind of seems okay. What do we do to beat the heat? Usually, if we were all together, we would be barbecuing.
Yep.
Be just like the coolest thing to do, and then waiting for the fall season of football to come back, things like
Yeah,
that.
we'd be watching the Dodger game.
Oh, Dodgers, yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, there's entertainment available, but it's just kind of like when it's 100 degrees every day, and you're just kind of tired of it. It's almost like you'd rather just for it to be fall and go back to school.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so I wanted to just bring up summer barbecue. So that was one of our favorite things to do as a group of friends, which was really, really cool. And again, Los Toros, I mean, we were like their number one customers, right? We were just buying meat all the time from that particular market in in South Almani. So anyways, I just wanted to ask you, like, what are you barbecuing these days? What have you been doing for feeding your family as far as like introducing them to the good barbecue? And I know you're kind of limited, right? Because there's no carne asada in Texas.
I make my own. So I've gotten around that problem because I don't know if I told you this. I have Los Toros marinade.
Oh, you have mentioned that. Yeah.
Yeah, I have their beef and chicken marinades I can make here. So, as you mentioned, we used to go there so much, for people that are listening, when Albert and I both served our missions and we're out of California for 2 years, like that was a store that recognized like we were gone. And like my older brother Tad used to go in there and they'd be like, "Hey, where's your friends?" Because now Tad was by himself instead of a group of guys. So yeah, when we got back, and then I think we even went more after the mission. But I developed a relationship with some of them and kind of convinced them, They didn't understand that. Particularly, I was talking to him about my sister Brandy in Indiana, that there's no carnicerias
Mhm.
around. Like they just don't have the culture down there. And he's like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that like it doesn't exist." Now, it could today. This is 10 years ago, roughly. And so yeah, he agreed, like, because I told him I wanted to buy meat and ship it to her, but I'm not sure how to safely do it. Got to have dry ice. And I talked with him like, well, what if I just shipped the marinade and she bought her own meat? Because then it wouldn't spoil. So
Mhm.
anyway, I have the marinade now, and you can actually walk into the store and buy it, Albert.
Oh, cool.
Uh, Now they'll sell you the spices, but there's a liquid you got to buy.
Mhm.
And the liquid I can order on Amazon. Comes in a gallon jug. Once again, they showed me what it was. Uh, I order on Amazon now. Arrives at my door, add the spices, and I put it in the extra fridge, and I can make carne asada and pollo whenever I want. And it's really good
Awesome.
because they don't have anything like that here.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, so I've now the kids don't really eat. They're still kids. They eat chicken nuggets and
Mhm.
things, but Sarah loves it. But we still do carne asada. We've done a lot of chicken. Anne's favorite thing is hamburgers. So I grill a decent amount of hamburgers, and I occasionally try to smoke stuff, but I'm not good at it at all.
Mhm.
Um, my main cooking technique is sous vide for most stuff in the water bath.
Oh, what's that? I don't think I'm familiar with that style.
Uh, so you put, actually, let me turn the camera here. So if you look, that black thing on there that has something sticking out the center in the center
Yeah.
of the table,
Yeah.
what that does is that's a container with water. And when you turn it on, you can pick a temperature and you can cook meat perfectly. So,
Oh,
like
cool.
chicken, for example, the worry is you're always going to undercook it. Someone will get sick, or you're going to overcook it so no one gets sick and it's really dry. You put the chicken in a Ziploc bag or a food saver bag, and you put the water at like 150, and you put the chicken in there for an hour, and it's perfectly cooked, but it's still really juicy and tender. And then you can throw it on a pan in the kitchen to sear it. So it takes longer to cook, but it guarantees good good chicken every time. It's not undercooked or overcooked. So I cook all my steaks in there, and then I put them on the grill to sear them. I'll leave in for my carne asada. So remember back in the day, for all our barbecues, like someone had to be out on the grill cooking the meat, and at some point meat comes in and people start eating, but the chef or the griller, just picks at it because he's gonna eat last because he's got
Yeah.
to cook all the meat.
Mhm.
So now when I have a party, this might blow your mind, but this is my favorite thing about it. I'll actually cook the meat and the chicken a day before on the grill, and I like the chicken will be undercooked. I just put it on there to get those grill marks on it on the outside, but if you cut the center, it's still raw. And I'll dice it into little cubes. Now the nice thing, Albert, is it's the day before. There's no hurry.
Yeah.
I don't have to make sure the meat stays hot. I literally I'll take the chicken off the grill and I'll leave it on the countertop for 30 minutes. I won't even touch it. I'll cut it all and I can put it in a bag and put it in the fridge. And then the next day, I just put it in the water and it stays in the water all day. And when we want chicken, I just pull it out, dump it in a bowl, and I have like unlimited meat that's hot and not overcooked. And it's the greatest thing because, like, if there's a bag we haven't used at the end of the night, just put it in the fridge or you can put it in the freezer. But yeah, it's changed with meat, beef and chicken. It's changed my life. I can cook a party for 100 people and have like all the meat ready the day before and
Dude,
don't have to spend any time. It
Mhm.
just sits in there. And when the tray gets empty, you pull a bag out, cut it, dump it in. And then when it gets empty again, you just pull it out, cut the bag, dump in another pound of meat that's hot, fresh, juicy. I'll have to talk to you about it more offline because I could go on for hours. But if you like chicken, it's my favorite thing.
Oh, that sounds perfect. That sounds just absolutely like the best way to do it, and solves the big problem, like you mentioned, because the cook would actually have to be sneaking in his own bites here and there just to make sure that he doesn't miss out on anything. So
Yeah.
I think sometimes with our barbecues, like half the meat will be eaten before we're actually serving to everybody. Then we're just like wanting to jump in and grab something.
No, that's why I said like it's great because now you don't miss the football game, you don't miss the baseball game. You just
Yeah.
do it like you. I've even done it like days before and just thrown the stuff in the freezer. And the beauty is when you reheat it sous vide, you can't tell that it was cooked 2 days ago. You cannot tell. I've done experiments with Sarah and other people,
Mhm.
and they think it like I've done steaks, put them in the freezer for. I've cooked them, put them in the freezer for 3 months, take it out, just let it thaw out, put it in the fridge, and then sear it on the grill, and they think it was just cooked. But it was actually cooked 6 months ago, and you can reheat it the next. It's amazing.
Dude,
Like
that is amazing.
when you reheat steak, you got to do it in the oven because the microwave it doesn't taste good.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's your opinion. To me, beef doesn't reheat well in the microwave.
No, no, it doesn't. In fact, Allison and I have the problem of like not eating leftovers because like it doesn't taste quite as good. So we just forget about it and then oh it's old, no, let's just throw it away now.
Yeah, heat it in the sous vide. It tastes like it was just cooked.
Oh, very
So
cool.
I've done corn in there. Like you can get pretty wild. I've reheated other foods too. Because yeah, it just takes time.
Mhm.
So you gotta make sure you have the time to do it. But once again, I've kind of gone around that by trying to prepare stuff a day before, like
Mhm.
cook it the day before. So now what I do, I'll go to Sam's or Costco and buy the big, 5 or 6 pounds of chicken breast. Come home, sear it, cut it, marinate it, sous vide it, put it in. I bought so because I do it often enough, I bought a food saver.
Mhm.
So you put in a food saver and seal it and throw in the freezer, and just I have like 1 pound bags of meat. So when we want meat, I just go grab a pound of meat, put it in the water. It's ready in an hour. Tastes like I just made it. Or like even for white man tacos, or Ann likes manwiches. We'll cook up like 2 pounds of it, and I'll just put them in little bags, put them in the freezer, and then to reheat it, I just throw it in the sous vide. So
Awesome.
anyway, I should stop talking about it because the sous vide. I want to get better at smoking,
Mhm.
but just I think I got a crappy smoker. I have a cheap smoker. I have a pellet grill. I don't like it that much. It's a cheap one, so
Mhm.
I'm blaming the cheap smoker. At least 50%. Half of it for sure me.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, so I don't know if you remember, Tom has cows.
Oh
I don't
yeah,
know if you
yeah.
know that.
Mhm.
So we slaughtered cows over a year ago.
At his place?
We didn't. He had a butcher slaughter.
Oh, okay, that would
So
make more
him,
sense.
sorry, yeah, him and a couple. So when Tom got the cows, I was like, hey, I want in, man. Like, can I call dibs on a cow for meat? Because I'm like, oh, that like I've always heard the stories of
Yeah.
people we knew in Utah, got a freezer full of meat. I'm like, all right, that's gonna be the greatest thing. So I called dibs on a cow. I ended up getting a third of a cow, and
That's still pretty good.
been over a year, and we still
Mhm.
have a bunch of meat in the freezer.
Uh-huh.
Um, but yeah, so lots of beef. We learned a lot. Our butcher sucked. We need a better butcher. But yeah, that's California boys trying to, Tom in particular, Tom and Susan have cows. It's an amazing thought.
That is amazing. I never would have thought that, especially with Susan growing up in Burbank. That like
Right.
yeah, Burbank people ain't like breeding cows.
No, but yeah, so this winter should be a good winter. We have a lot of roast.
Mhm.
So I'm looking forward to just having a lot of roast and trying different things. But I experiment more with food than Sarah, I think. So,
Well,
you
you
know,
went for the experiment type, which was really, really cool. In fact, I always remember just family get-togethers at the Turners doing deep fried turkeys, which were so good. So I don't know if you're
I
still
know.
doing any experimenting with deep frying.
No, I don't have the deep fryer anymore. I've actually sous vide a turkey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I kind of switched to that. I I've deep fried a couple times when I lived near Tom, because he has a deep fryer somewhere, I think
Uh,
still. But at his old home, it was in his garage, and I was like, "Hey, can I borrow that?" Um, yeah, I haven't done one in years though, but that's still one of the best turkeys.
oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, especially when you inject it with the special the sauce that you get. We get off.
Yeah, the spicy herb and
Yeah,
or the spicy Creole butter was the one that we liked.
that's the one. Yeah.
That's still one of my favorites. Now I will though sometimes even my sous vide ones I'll inject it, but I've started trying to make my own sometime. My own marinades to inject.
Mhm.
They've been okay. Just takes a lot of work.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Good things usually do. So you guys get to be
Yeah.
patient, right?
Yeah, but I do miss the frying. Those were the best turkeys.
Those were really good.
Those were good times.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And I'm really looking forward to when we get everyone together to talk about times like that. Should be really fun.
Are you you got a little grill on your patio there or negative?
No, there's a community grill, which again we have to share. But I mean, it's
Gotcha.
just a decent grill. But we cooked up some steaks the other day, actually. So friends, I think you knew Tony Aguilar, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, so him and his family live in our complex. So
Yeah.
they offered to grill me some steaks for my birthday, which was pretty cool.
Nice.
So he marinated himself and then Sierra did it as well. And then we just sat there and cooked it together and it was pretty good.
Man, speaking of that, I was thinking the other day, I miss Greenfields. Is it still there?
Greenfields is still there, but it's under a new ownership because it has a new name, and I forget
Okay.
what the new name is. But
Is it have you been there since
no,
it's
I
been under
haven't been there
ownership?
since we moved. I really wish I took in more advantage. So for those who are unaware, Nick and I we lived in Covina. We were roommates together for many years, like 8 years together.
Hmm.
And then down the street from us was a really cool Brazilian churrascaria called Greenfield. So yeah, it's the kind of where they serve you the meat on the swords and just all you
Yeah.
can eat. Just pile it on until you tell them no more. I'm done. Anyway, so when Allison and I got married, Allison loved it too. But I mean, like we got a little more into eating in because we want to save money. We're
Yep.
poor, not
Now I
poor, but I
gotcha.
mean that's yeah.
Greenfields was not a cheap dinner, so
Yeah. And then when we moved to Upland, I mean, I just kind of completely forgot about it. But I remember driving by, I think we were visiting the Holtzclaws or something like that, like a year ago or 2 years ago.
hmm.
And we drove right by and it's called something else now. It's not Greenfields, but at least it was still there. So,
That's funny. Jeff sent me a picture the other day. It's been a while, but he sent me a picture of a menu that I couldn't really read, just the front of the place, and was like, "Where am I?" And I'm like, "It was Taco Treat," and I knew it.
oh,
Went by, I got some deep fried, some chimichangas, deep
oh,
fried
very cool.
burritos.
Very cool. Before you said taco treat, though, I would have said, oh, maybe he's sending you like a Dino's menu.
Oh man, Dino's another great place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't have anything like that
For the
here.
episode.
Nothing like that here. We
Yeah.
got good barbecue though, man. You got to, when you come out here someday, you'll have the best barbecue you've ever had.
Oh, I
Or
definitely
I
want to
should
do it.
I should say some of the best because many states have great barbecue.
Yeah. My understanding was the southern. I mean, obviously Texas would be at the southern state, but like I guess like the true South, like Louisiana, they're pretty prideful with their barbecues, right?
Every state is. Come on, we're Americans.
Yeah,
That's how we roll.
that's true. That's true, man.
We just like I'm like carne asada. I'm a carne asada snob.
Mhm.
I met a family this summer at the local pool, and they'd been here a few months, and I'm like, all right, let me guess. You just can't find a good carne asada, and like both the husband and wife are like, yes, and I'm like, I get it. I know you never will. There's one good place, that'll fill your need. They're like, how do you get around it? I'm like, I make my own. I ship it from I ship the marinade. Um, yeah, it's a common. If I meet a Californian that just moved here, I'm like, yep, good luck. You're
Yeah,
not finding it.
yeah,
So yeah, I'm a carne asada snob, not a barbecue snob.
yeah. Well, very cool, man. Very cool. Did you have any other topics you wanted to bring up? I have one more, but I want to make sure we get all your conversation topics in.
All right, I'm gonna say something that I'm assuming this was your topic, but let me say it. I'd be surprised if it wasn't. Messi.
No, actually, it wasn't, but we definitely should talk about Messi.
Yeah, I saw a guy had his pink uniform on the other day. I'm like, Messi? He's like, and I'm from Florida. I'm like, we were just walking by each other at the store. I'm like, nice. I wanted to be like, I was in LA for Beckham. I get it. Anyway, had like Beckham vibes,
Very cool.
but yeah, what do you think of Me now it's funny because I wanted to watch the game the other night and I'm like, damn it, I can't find it. And then of course I saw someone on Twitter ask like, hey, where's the Messi game? And they're like, Apple Plus. And I'm like, the sons of a motherless goat. I haven't watched him yet because I'm not buying the season pass.
Okay, I can understand that for sure. But I mean, yeah, I'm a sucker for it, so I went ahead and did it, and I loved it. But I feel like I'm maybe not taking as advantage as I should because I mean, MLS is kind of in a weird situation right now where they're doing this like in season tournament with La Liga with Mexico called I forget what it's actually called, but like
Yeah,
they took a
yeah.
month off and like and Galaxy's already eliminated, which is kind of
Yeah.
frustrating. So they don't play again until August 20th. But in the meantime, I mean, since Inter Miami signed Messi, they've just been fantastic. In
It's been
fact,
gold.
yeah, they played Dallas, FC Dallas in Dallas, and I heard like the tickets were going for like $800, something crazy like that.
Yeah. It
So,
was and I was pissed too because I think I had looked at tickets before Messi signed. I don't remember Miami being on the schedule. Sarah said they like added it,
oh
which
really?
I
Okay.
don't know if I believe because I'm like, no, the schedule they're scheduled out for the season.
Well, I think this is for the tournament that's between MLS and La Liga teams. So it wasn't an
No,
MLS league season game, so it doesn't hurt either team in the standings.
okay, that could be it then. That would account for it. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I wanted to go, but yeah, I'm like, I can't afford that. We went to a Ranger game last month
Oh,
when they
I saw
played the
with the
Dodgers,
Dodgers,
actually.
right? Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw those pictures. I guess Cassie was in town with her kids, right? And Katie as
Yep.
well.
Yep. They came. So the plan was we were gonna go there this summer, and then Sarah was like, "Hey, the Dodgers are gonna be in town," and like called Cassie and was like, "We're gonna come to you, but like we want to go to the Dodger game." So Cassie was like, "Yep, we'll come to you." So yeah, they spent a couple days. We did a water park, but yeah, we went to the Dodger game. It was a good day for the Dodgers. It was a
Very
sad
nice.
day to be a Rangers fan. We beat the crap out of them.
Oh, very good.
So Sarah was not happy, which I would agree. It was like if the Dodgers had lost by that much, I'd have been really pissed. Like it wasn't even close.
Mhm.
It was like a 10-point victory. So
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I actually had this conversation with Marcelo on an earlier episode. It's just the rule change, I guess, with the pitch clock, right, or pitch count.
yeah.
It's just making it just a ridiculous high scoring games, which I guess could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on your point of view. But
What is your point of view? I'd like to know.
oh, cool. That's well, glad you brought that up too. So actually, I also had this conversation with Jeff a couple months ago as well, Jeff Haskins. But
I
you hear
listened
that
to
one?
that. I
Oh, okay,
recall.
very cool, very cool. Yeah. So I mean, again, I understand the idea of making the game, I guess, more appealing for the casual viewer who would like they want to see home runs. They want if it's soccer, they want to see goals. Football, they want to see touchdowns. I mean, in that regard, I can understand high power offense is attracting the casual viewer, which would mean, I guess, more revenue. But at the same time, I think it kind of how do I want to put it? Like it seems to me that pitchers before were doing really well in that having their ERA so low. So it almost kind of seemed like, it was like making a better player out of people, the fact that
Yeah.
you had to like work harder. Whereas I guess it kind of in a way it kind of seems easier, I guess. I don't know if that makes any sense, but sometimes it can be exciting. Like, yes, you're seeing your team like score 10 runs and then win the game, but then the next night they're giving up 10 runs.
Yeah.
So that weird influx is kind of like I thought things were fine the way before, to be honest. But
What do you think about the you can't shift like you could before on defense? You know what
okay,
I'm talking about?
yeah, I'm a little hazy on that rule. I don't quite understand that one.
I don't remember. Certain players, if
Yeah,
power right-handed hitter, yeah, they'll leave like third base open and move the defender over to the right
yeah,
side
yeah,
because
yeah,
your odds are they're going to hit it that way.
yeah.
Like you can't now shift a guy fully over. I don't remember all the rules, but you just can't shift like you used to.
Oh, okay.
So those
Yeah.
power hitters, that if they didn't hit a home run, you're pretty much going to get them out because they're
Mhm.
only going to hit to one side of the field.
Yeah.
And in one sense, I like it. I was like, oh, that's good because now those guys can hit. In another sense, I'm like, hey, wait a second. Like, this is a game. Defense figured out your weakness, which is what you're supposed to do in a
Mhm.
game. You find the enemies or the other team's weakness and exploit it. And then, in my opinion, what that means is, as an offensive player, your job is now to exploit the weakness of the defense. Like there's a whole side of the field open. If you can just hit it to the other side of the field, it's a guaranteed hit 100% of the time.
Mhm.
So, like, I don't like that you can't switch anymore because I don't think it improved the game. Personally, I don't think it
Yeah.
improved the game. I think it just made it so that these power hitters don't have to learn to hit the other direction,
Mhm.
which is going to mean less home runs. But it's a guaranteed on base if you could just hit opposite field as
Yeah.
that power hitter.
Yeah.
Like if you could go opposite direction, you can make the defense have to cover that and keep your odds open better for the other side. So I feel like they just hampered the game
Mhm.
and are trying to make offense more easy.
Mhm.
Not because the offensive player is better or exploiting a weakness. It's the opposite of that. It's
Mhm.
basically cheating, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And the pitch clock, I think it's dumb too. So
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. But I'm wondering if MLB's actually noticed. I mean, is it making a difference? Are they bringing in more viewers because of the high scoring games and the shorter games, right? Games are about 30 minutes shorter than they were before. Is that right?
I think it's like 20.
20?
It's
Okay.
20 to. I just remember the season's gone on longer. I remember when it first came out, when people announced how much time was saved, it was like, I think the first report was like 15 minutes, and it was like, oh, all this for 15 minutes? But maybe as the season's gone, it's increased that a little bit, but still, like it's part of the dance in the show, like, and the game.
Hmm.
Like, like games used to be faster, but then people started exploiting weaknesses and slowing down. Just like, when was the last time I shouldn't say last time, it happens every season still, but like in our lifetime, we're probably going to see a season where there's not a single pitcher that pitches the whole game, 9 innings.
Hmm.
But when we were kids, we saw that all the time.
Hmm.
So the game is changing. But I think a lot of the sports have gone down. Basketball's down. Um, Everyone's trying to kind of keep up. But yeah, I don't think the changes are good for the game. I agree with you that there might be some short-term advantage, but in the long term, I think it's going to cost them. I don't
Hmm.
know what that means though, but I'm not a fan of the MLB changes.
Hmm. Marcelo seemed to think that they were possibly going to change things back after just one season, but I mean, we'll have to just wait and see what's going to happen.
No, I mean, I think the plan too is the so even I'll touch this on soccer, like the computer calls. I don't like it. I'm watching soccer and you can clearly see the guy's off sides, but the sideline ref doesn't call it. He's waiting for the computer.
Hmm.
And I'm like, that you didn't need a computer to make that call.
Yeah, yeah.
But like so even for goals now, like the chip in the ball that can read exactly where it is and the cameras. I mean, it's cool stuff. Um, but yeah, there's that human element that's taken away that like gives you a lucky break,
Yeah.
which if you're the losing team sucks. But that's always been part of athletics in
Mhm.
sports. So yeah, what happens when all the balls and strikes are called by the box on the TV? I don't know if you know that. Like that's where it's
Oh yeah,
going.
yeah. I heard about that. Yeah.
They're already testing that in like minor leagues and places. It's the box. There's no longer like once again as fans, it's like, hey, if you're a ref, I just want you to call it even.
Mhm.
If their pitcher gets that corner, then my pitcher gets that corner.
Yeah.
It's fair.
Hmm.
Just call it the same. That's fair. Now it's just a computer. I
Yep.
think I think it's making the game less exciting.
It's actually kind of funny. Like that was maybe the one common denominator that fans could rally around against that. You know, we hate the referees, but now, okay, well, we're gonna hate the computer now, I guess.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I hadn't thought of it that way, but you are correct. We won't like whoever's making the call, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, very cool, man. Very cool.
Hey,
Yeah, go
no,
ahead.
I do have another question. Are you watching any basketball at all?
I haven't been watching any. You know, it's kind of interesting when with the Lakers actually playing better. And towards the end of the season, going into the postseason last year, I was kind of watching, and that was kind of fun to watch. And I'm happy with some of the changes or some of the re-signings the Lakers have been able to do. But so we'll see if they can continue the momentum. But I mean, I think they did build some momentum and interest towards the end of the season. So I probably will check out some games when the season starts in late of October, November, whatever it is. But yeah, let's just wait and see how NBA plays out this year.
Yeah, are you familiar? Like Phil Jackson doesn't watch the NBA anymore. Like,
No, I hadn't heard that.
yeah, he didn't like because it brought in politics too much.
Oh, okay.
I just think the game's gotten boring. It's nothing but like people shooting threes, no defense.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know if you've noticed any of that. I don't really watch any games anymore. I watch stuff on YouTube. I see highlights and hear people talk about it. But
Well, yeah, I
which
did
one?
notice. I mean, again, going up with the same idea with baseball, yeah, there's been tons of high scoring games where like both teams are scoring like 130 points in the game,
Yeah.
which is like kind of ridiculous. But like, yeah, you're right in that defense has kind of suffered, or players just aren't really interested in playing defense. But no, I mean, I still enjoy the game for the most part.
So we don't have to go long on this, but I heard the other day, that our Olympic team, we're gonna lose. Our Olympic basketball team, we're gonna lose again.
Oh.
And I was like, huh, are we gonna lose again? And I'm like, man, who in basketball is an OG tough, like a Jordan, a Kobe? It's gonna come back, make sure you win, a Magic. Like they're not there in the league anymore. In fact, I heard a lot of the best players in the league aren't gonna play because they're like, what's in it for me? Not paying enough.
Yeah.
Like, man. Anyway, so I only want to say that now. So after the Olympics happens, we can find out if I am correct or not that we are not going to win a gold medal. In fact, we might not even medal.
Very nice, very nice. So one more topic I wanted to bring up just briefly.
Okay.
It's cool just to see the Instagram posts that Derek posts often, with shows you guys have been to, which
Yep.
is really cool. That's one thing I miss, getting to go to shows and concerts with the boys. So you guys got to see the Toadies, which is completely random, but I thought that was kind of cool. And then Yellow Wolf, I'm not familiar with them, but G Love and the Dirty Heads as well. So
Yes.
yeah, if you could share some of your experiences with those shows and some of the times hanging out with Derek and Tom.
Well, it's concerts, we love the concerts.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I love about all my friends are similarities. Toadies was just kind of I got lucky, I gotta go. It was cool. It was small. It was fun. It was just Derek and I. We just kind of chilled near the back, near the sound booth.
Mhm.
Generally, if you remember, like I like being near the sound booth now because that's probably where the sound is the best.
Yeah.
Um, it was cool. I wasn't familiar with all their music. I was never a huge fan of theirs, right? I don't think I ever owned their album.
Mhm.
But in general, it was just a fun. I think it was a weekday concert or Friday night. The Dirty Heads concert, so I didn't know right away that G Love was going to play. In fact, Derek went with his ex-wife to see G Love a while ago and didn't tell me, and I was pissed. I'm like, dude, G Love wasn't like I totally would have gone because Sarah had never seen him.
Mhm.
And so I think it was Sarah actually found online and was like, hey, I think she said G Love was playing. I'm like, what? And we looked it up because on their tour, they had a couple bands listed and they weren't all traveling the whole country with them.
Mhm.
And so we weren't sure, but I was like, hey, G Love's like Louisiana. He'll be on this side of the country on this tour for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe the West Coast he won't go, but we should see him. So Derek didn't know either. Told Derek that G Love was going to be there and Tom and Susan. We were all excited. G Love was great. So happy we got to see him. Yay Wolf, I never heard of the guy. So we Now in our olden age, we had pit seats, but we actually went and sat in the back in the handicap section.
Hmm.
So it's the Toyota Music Factory. Yeah, but it's actually one of the best concert venues I've ever been to. There's not a bad seat in the house. We were in it has a lawn, but you can close, it has garage roll-up doors for the lawn. So if it's not a big concert, they can keep the doors down and have the AC on, which in Texas in 105-degree heat, it's amazing.
Hmm.
So it wasn't hot, which was awesome. Love the venue. We're in the very last row, which is handicap cushion seatings. And we just did hey, we'll chill here. For sure, we're gonna go up for Dirty Heads, but we're just gonna chill back here and have a good time. And if we get kicked out, then we go down to the pit. So we stayed in the back for all the openers. So G Love was great view, but Ye Wolf comes on, and I kid you not, it was one of those experiences, and you've had this before,
Hmm.
where the crowd's going crazy. Like over half the crowd is on their feet, like they're a headliner.
Hmm.
And like we had a girl in front of us. We got a little video I have to send you. Like she freaking like lost balance jumping around. And Susan got it on camera because she could just see it coming.
Hmm.
And dude, the guys, we get home and look him up, and like he's got music from 10 years ago, so he's not new.
Hmm.
But live, he was much better live than listening to his albums.
Hmm.
And the people went wild. And just on that live performance, I would recommend anyone listen to him. He's done collaborations with Kid Rock and a bunch of other well-known musicians. And then we went down to the pit for Dirty Heads, and at some point you saw a pit. Derek took his daughter down to the front, who we brought, and for G Love, he was like, "Hey, we're going to the bathroom." Took her. They went to the restroom, and then they went down to the pit. Got her close to get some pictures. And it was great. It was a great concert at a great venue. We all had a great time, just like old times. If you'd have been there, you'd have fit right in, of course. But it was great music. I've really become a big Dirty Heads fan. Like when they used to open for 311, I just thought they were okay. I didn't think they were that great.
Yeah.
But really, their last few albums I really like. So I listened to them a lot. And they're much better live now too.
Oh, very
They've
cool.
gotten much better live. So if you ever did get the chance to see them, I'd say I think you'd appreciate it.
Oh, very nice. I definitely want to take that opportunity if when the time comes. We'll see. But
No, right.
go ahead.
No, even on summer concerts, like, you and I, we're getting older. We used to go to a concert every other weekend.
Oh yeah.
Now, like these concerts were planned out months in advance. Like, all right, with children and who can go, and like there's more concerts I wanted to go to.
Hmm.
Those are just the only ones I was able to go to. I know
Okay.
you understand that.
Oh yeah, absolutely understand that now at my older age too. But yeah, if you ever find yourself back in the Southern California area, which I'm sure you will, you can obviously your family's still here. But the new concert venue that recently opened up, actually it was last year, is the Yamava Theater, which I love. It's been really really cool theater attached to the San Manuel Casino.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So they built like a new
venue. Yeah,
amphitheater?
right inside the casino, like no bad seat in the house. Really, really cool. Like I think it's like a 4,000 seater, so I mean it's decent size, but it's also kind of intimate. And they've been getting some cool artists to perform there. Like Allison
Huh.
and I saw Incubus there, and then we also saw
Nice.
a country artist that she likes, Kelsey Ballerini. And then the New Kids on the Block were there, and she kind of jokingly said, "Hey, can you talk to Marcelo?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll see if I can reach out to Marcelo." Sure enough, Marcelo was there for their show.
Oh, dude. I bet he would have hooked you up if you'd have called him early.
Yeah, if I had called him earlier, he probably would have. But yeah, they got a lot of like bands like that, like the Smashing Pumpkins, and then like I think Ice Cube was there, Janet Jackson, like Andre Bocelli of all people. So
It's funny because there's a casino in Oklahoma that's like an hour from us,
uh-huh.
where we are. And they get bands all the time too. The casinos are doing pretty good with
Yeah,
concerts and other things.
yeah, maybe
I've
maybe
noticed
you should
I've
look at
noticed
their
that
business
trend.
model to fix things, right?
Now, I don't think you never went when they first opened the tower. They had a concert venue there. Did you never go?
That doesn't sound familiar, no.
Okay, I think it was just Marcelo and myself. I know we went and saw 311 there, and it wasn't a big venue. It was a standing room only, I think, from what I remember. And but yeah, I remember going out there. That's where, I don't know if you remember, see if this brings your memory. There was a guy that he was blind. I don't even remember the blind guy that used to go see 311.
Oh yeah, I do remember him. Yeah.
That was one of the places, if I recall, that I really remembered him because like after the concert, he was like, hey, people were talking like he needed a ride to LA. Like he had gone there on his own, blind. Yeah. And like, yeah, I just came and I'm going to the concert tomorrow night. I got to get to LA. I don't know how I'm getting there. And everyone's like, all right, who lives near? Anyway, I think at least one time we went and saw 311 there, Marcelo and I, one night. But it makes sense. Like I said, I've noticed casinos seem to be doing well with concerts compared to other places.
Yeah. Oh, very cool, man. Very cool. That was kind of all the talking points I had tonight. Did you have anything else you wanted to bring up?
No, I think that was long enough. I don't want to bother people too much.
Sounds good. We did go pretty late.
But I lost track of time there. That actually went by really quick for me. So
yeah, it did. So I had to take that into consideration when we have the whole guys. But I anticipate that we're going to go really long for that one. So
doesn't have to be like a 5-parter.
Oh, very nice. Well, thank you for joining me tonight, Nick. It's always the blast, and it's always great to have you just ready to go spur of the moment when I need you. So thanks for giving me your time tonight, man.
Anytime. Always here.
Okay, thanks a lot, Nick. So you've been listening to the Casting for Fun podcast. Thanks, everybody.